Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Gio from SwitchRPG.com. We are live here at PAX 2020. We are in front of the Disjunction booth, and I have Erwin here. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about yourself and what your involvement is?
Sure. So I'm the lead designer and lead programmer for this game. Basically, I'm the one who started the company, put everyone together, and started working on this, basically.
That's great. I love the look and the aesthetic of it. What were some of your inspirations in the game, in making the game?
Yeah, so we like to say that our game is halfway between Deus Ex and Hotline Miami. So it has like that top-down pixel art aesthetic, but it's like very much an RPG. It's very cyberpunkish. So we like that style of stealth game. We're also inspired by like old school Metal Gear, Dishonored, stuff like that. Yeah.
That was totally the tone that I got from it, playing the old school Metal Gear. Except for in Metal Gear, I could never get past the dogs, and I would just ultimately just quit. But there's a lot more involved in this. I love the stealthy kind of mechanics involved. Why don't you can you tell me a little bit more about it?
Yeah, so you mean the stealth mechanics in general?
Yeah, well, either stealth mechanics or narrative. Is there a deeper narrative in the game?
Yeah, so it's definitely an RPG. Like, we put a lot of effort in the story, so your choices have consequences. Kind of like in Deus Ex, it's like if you choose to be very aggressive and kill a lot of people, that'll piss off some characters in the story. Some people will stop talking to you. Like, certain factions won't like you if you do that.
So there's kind of branching narratives in the game?
Yeah, there's branching narratives, there's branching dialogue as well, and so it's like there are a lot of different endings based on the dialogue choices you pick or like the way you defeat levels, stuff like that. So like there's a lot of agency for the player basically, and no dogs.
No dogs, so I'll be able to complete the game possibly.
Beat it, yeah.
All right. Speaking of beating it, how long of a gameplay or game time are you looking at here?
Sure, so it depends on how you play it. If you're like very slow and stealthy and tactical, it can take longer versus like, if you kill everyone and run and gun, it'll be a little shorter. But I'd say it's 6 to 8 hours, I guess. But there's a lot of replayability because it is an RPG, and so there are multiple endings, so you have reasons to play the game more than once.
That's actually great, a lot of replayability, especially in a shorter game. I think that's really important. You can actually go back without much impact on your life, I guess you could say. Speaking of your development team, how big of a staff do you have there?
So it's 3 people full-time. Wow. So it's actually me and my 2 brothers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we work together, and then we contract out like things like music or art. But yeah, the core team is 3 people.
Now, is this the first game you've developed?
Yep, first game.
That's great. Now, do you have a Switch release date at all?
So we're planning the end of the summer. Yeah, that's our current plan.
That's the current plan. Hopefully you kind of stick to that plan. Are you digital only as far as you're aware of?
Yeah, no physical release.
All right, perfect. Now, what is something that in your game that you're really kind of very proud of?
I think we're most proud of the story. We're most proud of the fact that like there are a lot of different endings, and like you really feel like it feels like a fair ending for what you do. There are certain games where it's like, there's moral choices, and if you like pick the bad option, you get the bad ending, and that's not really the case with our game. It's like you get a realistic ending based on what you do, and like it's up to you whether or not you think it's bad or not. It's just like what happens, and it's relevant to what you did. So we're proud of that.
Now, how does the character progression work? Is it stat-based? Is it weapon-based? How does that work?
Yeah, so there are 3 characters you play, and they each have 4 different abilities. And so in between levels, you can pick up upgrade kits, and you can use that to upgrade your abilities. And so there's like an upgrade tree for each character, and also each character has talents. So there are 2 different trees that you can use to customize your character, basically.
Now, can you go through the game completely without any combat at all, or is combat kind of necessary?
Well, there will be combat. You can go through the whole game without killing anyone. Okay. So your melee attack is non-lethal. You just knock people out, and so you'll probably have to knock out a couple people. You don't have to, but it's really hard not to. And so, but either way, you can go through the whole game without killing anyone. That's something that like people in the genre really like. Like in Deus Ex, people really like that you don't have to kill anyone, and so you can do that in this game. You can be non-lethal.
It's more like a challenge,
Yeah. But the thing is, like, you're not punished in this game for being stealthy. It's like, it's really up to you. It's legitimate to be super aggressive and kill everyone. It's legitimate to be very stealthy and non-lethal. It's like, the game doesn't really push you one way or the other. Right. Yeah.
That's perfect. Now, I really can't wait for this to be on the Switch. I've done a lot of research and looking at some gameplays online. It really looks like something I'd be really interested in. So I can't wait for that to happen. Thank you very much for doing this, and we'll see you on the Switch.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.